Welcome
to another episode
of Driving to the Res.
Holiday Edition.
Yes, Holiday Edition. With your favourite hosts,
Larry
and Inelia.
See, excellent job, honey.
Yeah.
Old pros. We're
Very
like at
good.
episode 100 or 2.
Yes. We should make a note of what episode number we are. Here are the people saying their episode numbers.
I do hear that, and I'm like very impressed.
And me too. Very impressive.
I'm getting not FOMO, but the other thing.
No, yeah.
Like, I want to know how many we are.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
measurements, that kind of thing. Like stacking up or not.
Yeah.
So this week we are talking about dealing with friends and family during the 2022 holiday season.
Yes.
Which, I mean, I feel like I might be in a bubble of high frequency because it doesn't seem like a big deal.
Well, for us, for a few years now, we haven't had to deal with low-frequency people, like co-workers or friends or family.
Our co-workers are fairly high frequency.
Yeah,
I mean, they're processing their fear stuff, and they're working
the
on their
tools
stuff, using the tools, and when you have a conversation, they don't go right into, defense and judgment and whatever.
Or taking sides. And I thought today we could concentrate on righteousness and taking sides, because even when the energies on the planet are not this intense, people take sides. But this year, it's being pushed left, right, and center on the television and everything, and people are taking sides big time. And
sides.
A lot of people are going to be invited to take sides, and it's so tempting because light workers are light beings are very righteous, aren't they?
Well, they're right. How do you not be right?
I know.
Well, righteous is
pushing your right onto somebody else. It's
pushing
different.
your right onto somebody else.
It's different to being right. We know we're right.
Of course we're right.
We don't have to push it on other people.
Well, not only that, they're right too, in a way, right?
When they push their right onto us, then how do we respond?
Their right is wrong for us.
Yeah, but how do you respond?
Our right is wrong for them.
So how do you respond? Yeah.
Well, the way that I've responded is I just don't have those people.
But what about those individuals that don't have that luxury?
Well, the people that you don't have that luxury with are the people that are in your family or your friends that are gathered together, or your workers. You have a choice, but you kind of
don't.
It's a little bit one of those gray areas, right?
Yeah.
It's like you go to the holiday party and at work, for example, and you get mushed together with all different people.
Yes, you do.
And so that's kind of the point, right?
Yeah.
Is how do you carry your frequency in a space with very multiples of different frequencies? We'll just say it that way.
Yes.
What we mean by frequency, what do we even mean by that?
Yeah, what do you mean by frequency, honey?
Yeah, because that's a word that
we use a lot.
But what does it actually mean?
Well, to me, the things are high frequency that are like joy, light, love, inspiration, excitement, curiosity, little children playing in the background.
Yeah.
Those to me are high frequency things. And low frequency, the base low frequency one is fear.
Fear.
Right? And then anger, jealousy, desperation, depression, stress, all of those.
Those are low frequency. So also, if you say you're mixing with, you're like trying to carry your high frequency, your joy, your inspiration, your happiness, and trying to carry that in a place where, I mean, some people really like stress. They really like, competition, drama. They really like making other people look bad so they look good. Those are games they play.
They do.
Which, I mean, when we get into judgment about that, I would say that's a bad game. But, I mean, it's a game.
It's just a game, yeah.
And I'm sure many of us in our prior lives, even in this life, maybe last week,
we've indulged
we
in that.
do that game, yeah. And we I'm good at this game. I'm really good at this. First,
making people feel bad.
I can tear you down in 1 second flat.
Yes. I used to play that game a lot because my parents were intellectuals. They were professors at a university. And our house, I'm talking about when I was really small now, like 6 years old. And our house would always be filled with intellectual psychologists and physicists, mathematicians, people in the arts as well, quite a lot of those. And I would pick one as a kid. I would pick one of them, and then I would go and make a discussion, like an argument.
Yes.
And it didn't matter what it was. It was like positive or negative, or it was true for me or not true for me. It didn't matter as long as I would listen to what they were saying, what are the theories or whatever, and I would go in and argue against it.
Debate,
and,
basically, that's debate.
Yeah, but I mean, later on I learned that that's how, I think it was the Greeks that used to come up with new ideas by having those, right?
Having two positions and arguing one.
Yeah, and then you
or
get
debating each
way
one, right?
broader, right? But to me, it was actually just to destroy them. To get destroyed by a 6-year-old. It was bad. And I did it all the way to my teenage years. And I remember once, the last time that I remember that was a lot of fun. And I was living with my father at the time in Spain. And we used to have breakfast in a bar downstairs in Madrid. And I sat down next to this guy, and he was talking about something. I can't remember what it was. And just my face changed or something. I sort of kind of smiled, and I thought, oh, this is prime, this is a good one. And then I started talking to him about it. And yeah, he was not in a good space when we were done. And my dad was listening to all of this. And then the guy left, and he came up to me and says, that's my business partner. And I said, yeah, I know. He said, I would appreciate it if you didn't destroy my business partners. Please don't do that again. Because after I won the argument and he said, yeah, you were right and everything else, I turned around and says, actually, I was just messing with you. You're actually right to begin with. And that just destroyed him.
You just crumbled him up in a little thing and threw him into the trash. Success.
Yes. And I don't know why I enjoyed it so much, but after that, I was like, okay. And I didn't do it again after that,
At least with your dad's business partners.
Not with his business partners, no.
That's nice.
So, but it was like, I don't know why it was so enjoyable, but yeah, so that, for example, happens, right?
That's one of the games. And
that's
I know from Judgment and Righteous, we say, oh, that's terrible, but that's
one of the games.
One of the games, and it brought plenty of pleasure.
Yeah, it did.
And, it's a frequency, though.
It is.
It is a lower frequency game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, after 2011, at 2011, I was given a very big request. I was told not to engage in battle ever again. And that's a battle. That's a battle energy. I'm going to win this argument. It's a battle energy. It's not a co-creative energy. It's not an inspirational energy. It doesn't feed the high frequency paradigm. It's a battle that you're going to win, and it doesn't matter what happens to the other person, right? So it's a battle energy. And so, especially after 2011, I haven't indulged.
in
that battle
energies.
Or any other, Occasionally I fall off the horse, it's a bit of an addiction, really. Mm-hmm. Like you said, like some people really enjoy battle, really enjoy destroying others and things. I mean, I didn't enjoy destroying others. It was
just enjoy winning.
Winning, yeah.
And it feels like if you're not winning, then you're the opposite, which is clearly losing.
I don't know what that feels like.
I know. The rest of us have that. Like, if we don't win, then we lose. Yeah. But that's not true. But that's...
Well, actually, I do, because I remember once when the kids were small and we went to the school and they were going to have the parents, they were running, they're doing like one of these get-together in the field, doing all sorts of things. And the mums were going to run 100 meters or something to see...
Track event of some kind?
Yeah. And they insisted that the other mums insisted, one specifically insisted that I ran, and I said, "Look, I'm not any good at the short stuff. I can run a marathon for you, but not this short stuff. I can't do it." And she said, "No, just do it. It's okay. And eventually, we need more people." So I said, "Okay." And then, poof, they ran off, and she won. She turned around, ha 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 ha, I beat you. And I was like, that's really weird. And I said, well, why did you, do this? And she said, well, I needed to win over someone, so.
Race against the slow person.
Yeah, great. I said, oh, okay. So I was like, yeah. What it showed me at the time was that it's like that energy win against a slow person doesn't,
It's not quite as satisfying.
No.
As winning against a fast person.
Right. But also, like, losing to somebody who set you up, it's not that clever,
Well,
somebody who knew you were going to lose?
Probably it was too basic of a trap. Yeah. If it had been a bit more complicated, maybe.
It might have been more enjoyable, yeah.
You need complexity in your traps.
Right.
Too obvious.
Yeah.
It's like, let's race. You're just walking.
Yeah.
You won. Woo. Yeah. I lost.
Yeah.
It's like, are you going to play this game or not?
Mm.
Is that kind of what it was?
Yeah. And that's another time, when I knew what was going on, then they wanted to do another race, right? And they did need the numbers. So what I did was I danced and jumped and hopped and did all the things. I wanted to do cartwheels, but I didn't know how to. So I kind of did a half cartwheel. Do you know what those look like?
Yeah.
It looked a little bit silly. But it was just like, okay, so if I have to do this, I'm going to really, really enjoy it. So it's like, jumping and bouncing, and eventually I got there. And then she got mad.
Because you threw it.
Because she said, you're not even trying.
You aren't.
I said, well, I enjoyed it, though. It was a lot of fun, and the kids loved it, too. There was all the little kids jumping and bouncing and stuff.
The problem is you're not playing the game right.
Yeah, I guess that's what it was. Yeah, I didn't play the game right.
Her game. You didn't play her game right.
Right. I changed it to my game.
Point. That's the point.
Yes, that's the point. Yeah. So in these situations, it's like, if you have to go there, if you have to be there, because whatever, you love your parents, you're going to be with them, and it's really important for them to be there, for you to be there for New Year's or Christmas or whatever. Oh,
yep.
Happy?
Yep, let me get Peter's.
Okay.
Keep talking.
There's the babies. Hi, baby. So that could be, and often that's what it is, I love my sister, I love my brother, I love my spouse, I love whomever, and I'm going to spend time with their family or my family or, because you love them. And that's good that you spend time with your loved ones, right?
Right.
But it doesn't mean that you have to play their game. You can actually, and the video that's connected to this newsletter has a lot of nice little nuggets of things that you can do, right? So that you don't get invited. It's like, don't feed the beast, don't feed the energy.
Well, yeah, but see that
separation and stuff
feeding
like
the beast is taking your side and winning.
Yes,
and being right.
Right. Yeah.
But in our game, higher frequency game, we're not in the necessarily business of. There is no losing. Right.
Or proving other people wrong.
Right, because that is actually
low frequency.
Mm-hmm. So we have for instances. Mm-hmm. For instances are usually the best way to demonstrate, I suppose. For instance, your uncle, I can't really. I'm having a hard time thinking of a good situation where you might reach somebody a topic that's. I mean, what can you even talk about?
I know, right? So politics, for example.
Politics is okay. Let's say your uncle is a Trump fan.
Okay.
Apparently, sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing, but it's a thing.
A thing.
And in this particular case, that thing, the Trump thing, is almost designed to have you got a very wide between
pros and cons.
It's like you're really for him or you're really against him.
It's not designed. It is designed that way. Okay. It is designed that way.
It's designed to I really support him or I really don't support him. Exactly. It's very far between. You can't have you're kind of close together. So you're trying to argue these points. You're like speaking to the wall. Both sides will feel that same thing, right? It's like a separation, ultimate separation.
And, for example, if it was my uncle, my viewpoint is Trump and the others, I can't even remember the others' names, they're all the same. They're all puppets.
Maybe so.
For dividing the species of humanity, right?
Right.
So, but I can't go in with that, right?
No,
because if I go in with that, it invalidates his love of Trump.
Not only that.
And not only that, but it's like, oh, it's people like you who don't get involved in voting in politics. It's like
it's just going to turn into a big snarl.
Exactly. So you can't really even if you're neutral about it, you can't go in with that energy.
So what the heck do you do?
What would you do?
I would, at, say, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that, I would have tried to
convince him
that, yeah, I like that thing that he did, or I like this thing that he did. It's like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't think that is sincere about it, but I do like that thing that he did.
And then you'd go into the argument and righteousness.
Oftentimes there would be like, well, then they would try to convince that it's genuine, it's real, it's this or that. And it's like, I just have a hard time. It's like I'm trying to accept it, but I'm not letting it. And I don't really want to listen to it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, how long is this one going to be? 5 minutes, 10 minutes? What's the quickest way to get it over with?
Yes.
So those are the things. And I feel like moved out of, I got to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
But moved into a place where, how can I have this conversation? Because I don't even, it's like our conversations are on so completely different realities, It's like, I hear what you're saying, and I did like that one thing, and I thought it was X, Y, Z. That's not a very satisfying conversation. That's why I think they used to, I don't know. I don't know, honey.
You don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do. I can't barely handle listening to it for an hour or two. Yeah. And it, not just Trumpy or Biden-y, or it can be any of the topics that are the created to generate separation.
Oh, definitely.
Created to generate separation. Yes. Those topics are separation topics, right?
Yes.
We have a whole list of them, and you're not allowed to say them on certain places. Other places you can say them. But, you know the topics we're talking about.
Yeah.
You can't talk about those.
Right.
Well, at your family thingy-wingy, they're going to probably come up.
So here's the thing.
So how do we handle the Trumpy thing, for example?
Well, there's a whole bunch of tools that are on that video, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Most people on the planet love to be praised, first of all, and love for people to talk about themselves.
Okay.
So when you get yourself into that pickle, right? Like, I'm sitting with my uncle here and all he talks about is Trump. And he wants me to tell him what I feel about Trump, right? And you don't want to be like lying.
Yeah, and you might not even not like the guy. You might think, that's pretty cool. I think,
maybe
he's like
this is just an example. Let's just example. It's an example, right?
But you're not. That there's a game going on, and you know that this game isn't the game that he's falling for. Is what I would use in my words. You're falling for a game that's separation game.
Yeah.
But those are the language he's not hearing.
Yeah. So this is where, if you have a lot of contact and then you know all about what your uncle's been up to, you pick something that he's done and you really go for it.
You change the topic?
You do.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's it. It's simple. And if you haven't actually heard anything about him for the past year, you go, oh my gosh, we haven't met, we haven't even talked for X amount of months. What have you been up to the past year? What's been going on with your life? I'm really interested to hear about you.
That probably will work.
It really works.
That will probably
does,
work.
Yeah. And then don't pretend interest. Just when they start talking, grab something that actually is interesting to you. And go for it. She's snoring.
The dog is snoring already.
She is. Our puppy dog's
She's
snoring.
so happy.
Yeah.
All right. You know, that's advice that I think that could take you through a lot.
Yes.
Because here's the thing, is the bite, that little topic, it bites.
Yes.
And instead of letting that bite snag on, you're like, yeah, I don't want, I'm interested in you. And that connection has its own little, I'm not going to call it a bite so much, but it definitely has a cord between you and your uncle, or you and your mom, or whomever, your sister, whatever.
Right.
It has a cord there where there is the connection ability, right? The other connection is a separation connection. In other words, you're connecting to separate. This one is a connection to join.
And the other thing that I found is when people have a lot of problems with a member of their family who's always complaining about another person or blaming another person. That's usually a common one.
There's those. It's always somebody's fault, or it's always something. It's like Debbie Downer. Everything's negative.
But also they pick on someone. It's like, oh, your cousin, blah, blah.
Cousin did it.
There's this and this and the other. And they get really riled up and you're listening to this. And then one of the things I saw somebody do is that they turned around and said, so tell me what you like about this person, right? So what is it exactly that you like about cousin Joe? So what, do you like anything about him? Is there anything good about him?
That's a good way too.
Boom! A lot of the time you go, oh yes, he brought me some groceries and blah blah blah, and it just sounds, it's amazing, it's like magic.
What's the thing of that we're illustrating is there's an invitation here.
Yes.
And so are you going to join in the low frequency, or are you going to invite a high frequency encounter?
And being like extremely angry inside and frustrated and judgy about everybody around you, that's actually feeding the beast too. So connect at a high frequency level. Okay? Everybody has light and dark. Connect at the light. That's it. Do you see?
Say that part again, because that's pretty important.
Okay, so
everybody has
a light dark in the light dark garden.
In the light dark. Everybody has light.
Yeah.
So you don't have to focus on the dark?
No.
You can just focus on the light for a little bit.
Yeah. And then if you do get tired of it and it's like too much for you,
you could say, I gotta go to the bathroom.
You can, yes, you can remove yourself. But there's a tool that we use, right? Which is, this too will pass.
This too will pass.
Yes, this too will pass. It's not the end of the world. Tonight I'll be sleeping on my bed. It'll be fine.
One of the
this
things,
too will pass.
One of the things I think you might find, and you probably will find, is if you go in with this to start with, the things that you're like, this is going to be terrible, those things don't even happen.
I know.
And you have a wonderful time. It's actually an excellent time. It's like, wow, I had the best time with my family I've ever had in my whole life.
I've seen that a lot.
I've seen that a lot too.
Yeah,
that's
people
probably
watch the video with all the tools. They come back and says, you know what?
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad at all. I
found out some things about my uncle I didn't even know anymore. He's been up to this and that and the other. Yeah. So, you are actually co-creator in the experience. Yes. You're not the only victim of it.
Or the most intelligent person in the room.
Yeah.
I would also suggest stay away from alcohol and drugs. Just
those are open
there.
doors.
Yes.
They'll open doors to
you won't be able to cope very well if you have those.
You won't be able to manage as well.
No. Yeah, you won't.
No, it isn't going to actually, this is going to make everybody interesting.
No,
I mean, it might for a minute.
Okay, just don't do it. No, in a good way. Just don't do it.
No, do avoid altogether if you are at all tempted. Just do the apple juice sparkly bit, or do the soda water lime thing, or whatever it is that makes you feel like, you're part of the group. If you're at one of those things, you have a drink. Yeah. But you have a drink that keeps your wits about you.
Right.
Not one that dulls your wits away from you, or, opens the door for somebody else to
step in
and really
mess you up.
Grab you. Mm. Yeah, not a good time for that.
Right.
Huh. I think those examples help, They help a lot.
They do, yeah.
And
wintertime also. make sure you spend time. Although in the southern hemisphere it's summertime, make sure you spend time outdoors, parks and trees and so. Yeah, a lot of individuals. No, Phoebe is so cute. A lot of individuals are going into cities or towns to meet with with their families or even co-workers and stuff. Time out.
Travel.
As
you're traveling, what did you find out? What did you figure out about food?
Bring your own.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. No, but sometimes say if you're going for a week or 2 weeks or something. What I used to do, and I haven't traveled for a long time, so I no longer do it. I would get a little pamphlet or manual or book on the history of the place.
Oh, definitely.
And then go and visit all those places. It's amazing. Yeah. It's really good. And then that could be something that you do with your family or co-workers or whatever is in the mornings. Hey, I've heard about the such and such that's in the city. Anybody want to come and see it, And it's really nice. It's really nice. Really good connection with the environment. And also find out where all the parks are and see where the closest ones are. And spend time there. Spend time in the park because you need that connection. And if any relatives of yours have like a dog, offer to take it for a walk every day. Because that's going to take you outdoors as well. And, when you have a dog and you connect, it's really good. Just keep it on the leash because you're not going to be its masters. It's really good. You don't want to lose the dog.
How about with children? Children, like, sometimes, some kids are okay. Some kids aren't.
Right.
They're like ornery, mean, scratchy, bitey. Yeah. They're little terrors, basically. Some of them, sometimes you have that in your family. How do you deal with that?
I don't... I would have to have more context because if they're not my kids, I usually didn't.
Not your kids.
I usually just didn't.
You don't interact with them?
No. Well, I had one example. I went to see some friends. I can't remember where it was, but we went to see some friends, went to their house, and they had a daughter. They had a few kids, but one of the daughters was known to be a difficult child, aggressive and nasty. And she was about 7 or so. And I didn't know this when I went in, right? And I said, hi, what's your name? And blah, blah, blah. And she was insulting and she kicked me on the shin. And I'm like, okay then. I turned around like you do with a puppy dog. And I ignored her completely. And then she'd come up to me and I'd just kind of shuffle her off me. And then at one point, she pulled my hand. I turned around and says, don't pull my hair. I don't like that. And I don't like you, right? And she was like, her eyes went huge. And she was like backwards, and she was like kind of teary and she ran off. And the parents were like looking at me going, oh, we're so sorry and blah, 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 blah. And says, it's fine. I'm treating her like an adult and I put in my boundaries. And it's like, I'm sorry if that offends you, but no, we understand. It's like, geez, They let her do all those things to this brand new person that had never been there before. And they hadn't done anything. They didn't do anything. I had to do it, right? It's like a puppy dog. And then she would not leave me alone. She brought all her books and her dollies. And she wanted me to play with her. And she was being, like, super nice to me. And ignored everyone else. And there was quite a few friends in that gathering. She ignored everybody else. And I literally spent about 2 hours just telling her to go away. I don't like you because you were so mean to me. And that's not the right thing to do. Right? And she kept coming back. And eventually we ended up sitting together on the sofa reading books. Right? But it's like, it was a very particular situation. And it's not like something that people normally do. But I just, that's the only thing or place that I can go to when you said those things about mean kids.
Did you ever have or go anywhere with your kids and the kids were mean to yours? Because it seemed like in my family, usually there's one of the kids is really ornery with all the rest of them.
Right.
And what do you do?
Yeah. I would tell them to, to speak up. Right? To just say it really loud. I don't like you doing X, Y, Z, right? Use their words or whatever.
That sounds like good advice.
Yeah. Oh, we got alarmies and things going off. We forgot to put that on. We forgot to put the
I think it's time is what it is. Oh no, it's a fairy dingling. I'm getting fairy
ding,
dingles.
ding, ding. Just put it on silent or whatever. Thank you. So, yeah, there's different situations that can happen and things. But normally, I mean, with kids, I didn't really have much interactions. And usually the kids were nice that I've been around. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was the only thing that I could relate to when you said a nasty kid. And with your kids, you said, yeah, just speak it out really loud.
Yeah, just tell them to speak up.
Yeah, speak up.
Don't suffer silently.
Exactly.
Don't be victims.
Right, don't be victims. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems like a way to go about it.
Yeah.
You know, set the stage and then you're going to be on it. Mm-hmm. So set a high frequency stage.
Right. Right.
And you know, if you just can't manage it, oops, step out for a little while.
Exactly.
Come back in for scene 2. Try again.
Yes.
You know, just keep trying. Yeah. You're the one who wanted to be there, so be there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you don't want to be there, don't go there.
And also think, okay, so if your dad is really getting on your nerves, remind yourself, oh, wait, what do I like about my dad?
That's a way.
Right?
What do you like about your dad?
What do I like about my dad?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like this and this about him. Suddenly the energy just changes inside of you.
Yeah.
And often you'll have that energy change reflected back to you, like, very quickly.
Yeah, because, you know, they're not immune to your, what am I dissecting and feeding, and what energy am I immune? Sort of like Caesar Milan with his dogs, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
They can sense, your bodies are sensing things.
Yes, they are.
So don't go in carrying this brick on your shoulder and don't expect somebody to push it off, you know?
Right.
Especially if you got a brick pusher in the house. yeah, that's it. I think that we got it. You know, the articles, the newsletter is read out. Mm-hmm. You can go to Substack, right? Mm-hmm. And you can listen to you read it.
Mm-hmm. Then there's a couple of links on the newsletter also.
A couple of links there.
One for meditation, go and do the meditation every day. And also one for the video that actually deals and gives you lots of hints and some tools for you to use while you're with some friends or relatives or co-workers.
Co-workers or whatever.
At this moment in time.
Excellent.
Great.
Okay. Love you, honey.
Love you too.